What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. We got a 2012 GMC ACADIA. We're gonna replace the axle. We have a clicking noise. This is the driver's side. So the tools we're gonna need is a 10mm socket. This is a 3/8 drive. I got a long extension. I'm using a drill. You could use a ratchet. We got a 24mm for this guy right here. Both of these. And we're gonna need a hammer. I have my hammer right there on the floor. We're gonna hammer these ones we have because these are studded bolts. We got a 21mm, so right down here. We're gonna need a flathead screwdriver or a fork to take this off, or you could just manage it with the hand and move this. We got this is 33mm right here, and obviously we got this lug nut for the lug nuts, 21. Okay, and we got a pry bar. That's everything I have so far. And all I need to go get is a fork or a flathead screwdriver so we can take this out. And we're gonna do this job complete. I'm gonna show you guys how to do it. And I'm gonna show you the part that I'm using. Never buy a used or refurbished axle, because those are, just because you change the boot doesn't mean that axle is good. Because internal, it cuts groove into the cup, and that's what actually causes the click noise, and you don't want that. Anyways, let's continue. So to start out the job, I'm gonna use this big socket here, and this baby seized in pretty good, but that's fine. What I like to do next is see if you can push this axle. Sometimes this axle won't move, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to get a chisel. Okay, chisel is one of the tools I was hoping it's not gonna be necessary, so just a punch or a chisel. No, a punch, not a chisel. So if this axle doesn't move, I don't want to bother it. Okay, you don't want to hit this directly because it's never going to come out, and you're going to damage the threads. Then you can, even if you want to end the job. And I do need to speak to the customer once this occurs, because after this I can't go any further without because I don't want to spend like 6 hours on this baby. And sometimes what it is, it won't budge if there's no free plate in the back. So we are gonna have to start removing stuff anyway to begin going any further, because I noticed there's pretty much the axle is not able to budge at all back and forth if I grab it from the back end. So what I want to do next is I want to use my fork. I want to take off this retainer here because I don't want to damage this ABS cable. Also remove this guy from back over here. Just open up this retainer here, and this baby is nice and free. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is I want to put a 21 down here. Whoops. Let's do this. Let's take this baby off. And what I want to do next is, you can either hit it here or bang it down here. So let's see. There you go. Baby's out of the way. So we're gonna come around this way next, and we're gonna try to take off the 2 bolts right here. This is 22s. So 1. Okay, no, it's a 24. It's a 24mm socket, but my camera's not capturing, so we're gonna move it in a different angle, like right here. Okay, so 1 and 2. This guy comes off. Okay, and that guy comes out. 2 bolts come out. What we're gonna do is we're gonna move the camera a little bit of this way now. Okay, there's a 10mm. There's a 10mm on this brake line back here. So you want to remove that 10mm right there. What that's gonna do is it's gonna allow you to remove. This thing has to be free, so we don't yank the cable for the brake line here as well. So what I'm gonna do next is we're gonna simply just take our hammer, and we want to pop these guys out of there. But now we got a bit of free play, and let's take off this baby also. Let's see if our axle budges now. So we're gonna come back out. We do have a free play now. Let's grab our chisel. Woo! Our baby does not want to move. So what I want to do here is, I do want to put this baby back on. I'm gonna try to hammer a bit, but I am gonna go get a rubber mallet. Okay, this is a rubber mallet, so it shouldn't damage much. Okay, so we're gonna forfeit the job. Not looking to go any further. Okay, so we're back. So I took off the rotor cap. Okay, so what we want to do is I want to go down in the bottom without disturbing my camera, and I'm gonna see if I can fish out this without damaging the transmission. So slowly, okay, I want to just yank it out of there, and if it comes out, if it don't come out, then I use a slide hammer instead. So let me get a slide hammer instead of this guy. So the opposite side is same, and I'm not feeling so well, so that's why I'm a little lazy. Let's see if this baby come out right through here. I just don't want to hurt myself with the spindle here. Eventually this guy will come out, so I'm gonna try to bang it out, but I gotta get the camera out of here. But you get the point of what you gotta do down there. Okay, so a little bit of extra force with my pry bar, I was able to get the axle out of there. So all I need to do is come out this way and bang on the spindle. Okay, so I just need to get this ball joint out of this spindle. And what I want to do is I just want to tap here. A bunch of taps, and it will pop out. So we got some fluid come out, that's fine. And bring the crap out of it, just that camera mount is on the way for me to get a good force. Okay, don't want to use a fork, don't want to damage this guy, so give me a moment. Okay, once the camera's out of the way and you bang the crap, this baby will come loose. We still got the bolt up there, and guess what? Everything will come out nicely and easily. Come on, Axle, don't do that to me. There you go. There's the baby. Axle is out. There's our axle. We'll take a look at it later, but we're gonna reinstall the new axle. Okay, here's the new axle. A lot of time I'll put a little bit of transmission grease on this so it holds right in the center and goes in, but I always like to try it without putting some grease on it. So let's see if we get lucky. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. We don't even have to bang the rear off the axle. So we're gonna come back out a bit, and we're gonna bring our camera over here. Time for us to take the new spindle, put the axle right through. Okay, I don't want to put the axle in right now. Let's get the axle out of the way. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take this 21 millimeter here for the ball joint. We're gonna put this baby in. So we're gonna take our 21 millimeter here, smack this baby in nice and tight. We're gonna take our axle, make sure our axle sits in there good. We're gonna take our studs here for the spindle and try to line these babies. There you go. I got one that went all the way to the back. And here's the second stud here. Just be careful with the ABS cable. You don't want to pinch it. Then we got the two nuts on the opposite side of these studs. Okay, while we at it, we got the new axle bolt. It's a little bit pinched in from right here, from both sides. That's what locks this baby in. So we're gonna tighten this baby. We're gonna be torquing this baby, but everything else we can just do manually. Let's take our ABS sensor, stick the ABS sensor in, 10 millimeter for the ABS. Go. Tighten that baby up. Okay, now what I want to do here is I want to tighten these studs here just to make sure you don't capture. And I like to push this baby in a bit. There you go, perfect. So we're not gonna put this in yet. So we might have to straighten up this backing plate so it doesn't hit the rotor. Make sure you straighten that up or it's gonna scrape. But anyways, let me tighten everything up. No, let me see if the rotor fits in it without hitting this. So what you want to do is you want to take this guy, stick it on. See if it's rubbing a bit. So my idea here is so just a tiny bit all around, and that's it. Put this water on. Shouldn't be rubbing anywhere. Perfect. What I want to do is I want to put one of my lugs here so this thing holds my rotor in place. So the last thing I'm going to do is tighten the axle bolt, and before that it's going to be this so I can have space to do the brakes. Okay, next step is our bracket here. Let's take the bracket with these 19 millimeters. Sorry, 21 millimeters. So that's one. Let me see if I can find the second one. I know I had it here just a moment ago. Okay, there we go. Back of me. So here's the second one. And what I'm gonna do here is, if you want to torque that baby, you can do so. But we got our impact gun out. Baby's in, nice and tight. That's it. Make sure both your pads are in. Sometimes they will fall out and you will not see. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna get our caliper here. Let's take a look at the caliper. Up for that one. Okay, so we're gonna take an old brake pad and we're gonna push this pistons back in. Make sure you pump your brakes once you have your wheels on. Everything is nice and tight. and the car comes down on the floor. Okay, because your car is not gonna brake if your caliper is not retracted back. So pay attention to your line. Make sure your line is not like twirled up. This baby goes on, and take the two 13 millimeters. Make sure they're nice and tight. Make sure this thing sits evenly here. Okay, this baby's in. There you go. And get the one in the bottom, nice and tight. Nice and tight. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm gonna take off this lug here that I put on the wheel here on the rotor. Remember, we still gotta tighten the axle. So we got the, I don't know what's going on with my camera. So we put this baby on, we put a pry bar here. So we force this down and get the bolt there. Make sure you tighten up your axle bolt, and that's it. And this camera, I think I'm gonna buy another camera. It didn't capture the clips.